What car do you drive? Reddit. What do you dislike about it? I'll start. VW MKV GTI with DSG and cloth. My criteria when I was shopping at this time were a manual and leather, but I test drove it and just had to get it. It's just so much fun, and the suspension engine combo is perfect for city driving. I feel like it's the perfect city car for a weekend enthusiast. I love GTIs. I drive a Rabbit currently and love it to death. Can only imagine how much I'd appreciate the better engine. A 1999 Honda Civic and I am going to run it into the ground. It gets great mileage and needs very little maintenance. We bought one of those new. Had 230k on it when my daughter totaled it. She's fine. Thanks for asking. Now she has a 1996 Civic with about 150k on it that we got for $2,250. Not pretty, but drives great and there's nothing wrong with it. I drive a bike. I get 100 miles a pizza. One large Domino's pizza with cheese is 2,320 calories. Average biking speed is about 25 miles per hour. At that speed, assuming average weight of 170 pounds, you're burning 42 calories per mile. So you're getting closer to 55 miles per pie. I drive a 2006 Honda Civic. For me, it is the perfect commuter car. Pickup isn't that great, but then that wasn't my primary goal. If I want performance, I saddle up the BMW F650 GS. The Civic seats 4 and gets 33 miles per gallon in the city and closer to 40 miles per gallon on the highway trips. 1978 Datsun 280Z. Motor and suspension worked over. She's my baby. 2010 Triumph Speed Triple. Pros: 0-60 faster than a supercar. Looks cooler than anything else. Corners like a mother sucker. Brings a smile to my face every time I ride it. Cons: no heat or AC. For heat you stop. For AC you go. To make it cooler go faster. I have a modded Subaru WRX. Faster than all heck. With 25 miles per gallon on the highway. Absolutely love my car but not a chick magnet at all. I have a 2001 Accord that I will drive until one of us dies. The body design of this one is still the best Accord design Honda has put out. First off, the car is pretty. My GF at the time I bought it said that car is sexy, and it is. The car is a 4-cylinder, but it drives like a 2.3 liter 4-cylinder. So I get the best of both worlds. Good mileage and fun to drive. She's no WRX, sure, but she can hold her own. Manual transmission on it, and this is what sold me. I love driving a stick shift. It's just more fun. The year this one came out, they only made the stick shift for the 4-cylinder version, and they didn't make that many of them. I've had a few people tell me that I'm lucky to have one. It has an incredibly smooth ride, even for being a decade old. Been in the shop only for regular maintenance. Other than that, this car is solid. The sound system is premium. 6 speakers, in-dash disc changer, none of that trunk bulls, steering wheel controls, and it sounds pristine for being stock. I'm dreading the day I'm going to have to put it out to pasture, but since it's a Honda, I know that if I take care of it I can easily push it another 5-10 years. I might be a giant dork for prattling on about a Honda Accord for so long, but I tell ya what, everyone who drives it understands it. Audi A4 checking in. I love it. A grey 2000 Dodge Caravan. Does everything it says on the tin. Good gas mileage. Cargo space galore. Once carried a Garland 6-burner restaurant stove without removing any seats, only to discover said stove would not fit though my kitchen door. But I digress. Downside: ever try to find your particular grey minivan in a big parking lot wreck? They must have made 6 billion of these things. Also, it is an achingly uncool vehicle, and the radio sucks. It's amazing how much suck that radio can put out. 2003 here. I recommend getting some unique bumper and panel damage. That's how we find ours. Thank you dear sister-in-law for the wonderful modification. 87 Porsche 924S. The one with the Porsche engine, not the crappy Audi one. It looks pretty good, although not as good as its bigger brother, the 944. It's quick, but not enough to kill me, especially on Irish roads. It's pretty easy to work on. Although parts can be expensive, it also makes a fantastic noise. Considering it's a 4-cylinder, it's fairly economical too, when you take into account the engine displacement, the age and the performance. 2007 Toyota Yaris. Pros: fantastic fuel economy, lots of headspace for tall passengers, and is a lot bigger on the inside than people would think for a little car. Also one of the few Toyotas without a major recall. Quite reliable in my experience and fun to drive. Decent acceleration on takeoff, but not so much at highway speeds. Con: weight capacity is about 800 pounds. If you carry a lot of stuff, or have heavier passengers, it quickly piles up and the car's performance greatly suffers. Spinning wheels on takeoffs, suspension is bottomed out. The reason it's fun to drive is the lack of traction control, not an option in the 2007 models, but can lead to trickier situations in the winter. Transmission also sticks when it's cold in automatics. I drive a Footmobile. Cheap as crap, but aside from that it freaking sucks. I only get like 2 miles per snicker bar though. I have an '09 Sentra. It's got good gas mileage and no balls. 97 Honda Accord X with leather interior. Bought it used about 5 or 6 years ago for nearly $10k. It now has about 129,000 miles on it. The only thing I'm not crazy about is the paint is doing an ugly fading job. Originally black, I busted part of the grille a few winters ago trying to open the hood, which was frozen shut. Nothing wrong with how it runs, however, gets me to and fro. I have a 1998 Accord. Think it's an X. Cloth interior though, not leather. I also have fading green paint, mainly on the front and back of the roof next to the windshield, and some on the top corner of the trunk lid. Best part about it is the manual transmission. 2002 BMW M3 Pro. Unbelievable fun, responsive, quick, and put a smile on my face every day. Cons: 15-16 mpg in the city. I've got a 2006 cubic meters that I bought a couple years ago. After 2 years it still puts a smile on my face every time I drive it. I never get tired of it. Sadly it's winter here, so it's in storage until spring. Only 2 cons that I can think of are: maintenance is very expensive, and everyone assumes you're a douchebag for driving an M3. 1988 Mazda RX-7W Series 5 motor. Turbo, of course. And I love it so much. Sadly though, it's winter in Milwaukee, so I am driving an '06 Scion until the snow and salt are gone equals. Upvote for FC. I drove a 1991 NARX-7 for a while about 5 or 6 years ago, and it is still the love of my young car life. 1996 Ford SVT Mustang Cobra. Likes manual trans, as all Cobras are. Sounds, looks, drives great. Rarely see another 94-98 Cobra on the road. RWD. Dislikes: leather is starting to tear. 120k miles. Getting shouted at by soccer dads for speeding while going 25 miles per hour in a 25 mile per hour zone. 2009 Mini Cooper S. I bought it when gas prices were in the $4 gal range, so I thought I was the most clever sucker on earth. It's a hoot to drive. I take corners in this car that I could never take at speed with other cars. Driving through downtown Manhattan is easy, and parallel parking is cake. On average, combined city highway with aggressive driving, I'll top 32 miles per gallon. Highway only if I'm mindful, I could probably hit mid-40s. Granted, I gotta use premium because it's a turbocharged engine. Dislikes: the interior takes a lot of getting used to. Despite the giant honking speedo, I have the Navi package. It's still goddamn invisible, so I have to use the digital readout on the tack. To say it's quirky would be an understatement. Also, Navi system uses BMW iDrive, so it's not fantastic. I feel like it was designed with good intentions, but fell flat in execution. It needs run flats because there's no room for a spare. The trunk is small, one duffel bag and it's full. I believe the spare is under the car. Go look there. I had a 2002 before I traded in for 2011. The spare was under the car. 95 Acura Legend. I freaking love it. Best car ever made. I plan on buying another. Stock sound system is Bose. Leather interior. 3 ashtrays. I, along with most of the people who ride in my car, smoke. 3.2 LV6. Repairs are cheap, and dang, it's sexy, even for a car from the 90s. They don't make Legends anymore. Those were amazing cars. 2010 Honda Element. Pros: decent mileage, plenty of space for moving stuff. I'm a college student. Hipster magnet. Cons: I wish I got manual. Also, the doors are annoying in parking lots. The front door is normal. The back door opens backwards once the front door is open. Only 4 seats. The back middle is non-existent. I love it. It's awesome in a docky way. I love my Element. I have no problems with the doors at all. Makes it easier to get adult-sized humans in and out of the huge back seat. The seatbelts I agree with, however. Also, the water-resistant everything. The fact it has a freaking Civic Si engine, and that it has pretty dang good gas mileage for a car that size makes me a very sad panda that they're discontinuing it. A 2010 VW Jetta TDI. I have a 2000 Jetta TDI, and test drove a new 2011 Golf TDI. Whoa, what a difference. So much quieter and much more power. 2008 Infiniti G37S. Pros: nice car, accelerates quickly, handles well. Cons: gas mileage and the need for supreme premium gas. Nice car. 2006 Dodge Charger RT. I absolutely love this car, no complaints. A K1 complaint: it's black and requires constant washing. 2005 Dodge Magnum SRT. Nothing like smoking a Porsche with a station wagon. I drive a 1990 BMW 525i because it was cheap when I bought it 4 years ago. Nice, runs forever, and fun to drive. Stick shift of course. Since I was in high school I've fixed my own cars, and I've never had a lot of money despite having a bachelor's degree from a big school, so I tend to buy cars that I can fix myself anyway. I swapped a 3.5 Big 6 into this one. It's fast enough now and still runs great at 255,000 miles. Gas mileage is retarded though. If I didn't use hypermile techniques this thing would get 16-18 mpg. I manage 20-22 mpg combined though. I ride my 1988 Honda Hawk GT for the combo of speed and mpg. It'll do 0-60 in 3.9 seconds. Get 45-50 mpg. And only cost me $1,250. Was a basket case when I bought it. Hawk GT is a seriously cool bike. Nice. 98 Ford Escort. Its only redeeming qualities are that it is paid off and gets pretty decent gas mileage. Otherwise, I hate the fricking thing. Its biggest issue is that its front end linkage and suspension are junk and in chronic disrepair. My dad briefly had a 1998 Escort. It was a 1.3, completely gutless. I have 2 cars, a 1976 Oldsmobile 98 and a 2010 Chevy Malibu. I like the Olds because it is big, comfortable, and runs pretty well considering its age. Unfortunately, it is kind of noisy at highway speeds. Things squeak, and some trim is starting to fall off. Also, since it is over 19 feet long, weighs over 5,000 pounds, and has a 7.5L engine, fuel economy is somewhat poor. My Malibu is a good compromise of size, cost, ride quality, and fuel economy. It also is pretty quiet and I like the interior design. I suppose I would like it more with a V6, and if it were even more smooth and quiet, but I didn't want to spend the money for a Buick. Also, since it is over 19 feet long, weighs over 5,000 pounds, and has a 7.5L engine, fuel economy is somewhat poor, till Oldsmobile made tanks in 1976. I drive a 2008 Scion TC. I like it because it was cheap. The base model is pretty good, nice speaker system, power windows, moonroof, etc. And all I had to add to it was the taillights and the lip spoiler, along with an aftermarket and dash navigation unit afterwards. I dislike it because I make way more now than I did when I bought it, and I really want to get a semi-ridiculous car. But as I live in Manhattan, and I only drive maybe 3 miles a day, there's no way to justify buying the G37. Find a way to justify it. I freaking love G37s but won't be able to afford one for a long time. 2003 Toyota Camry. I'll have it until it dies. I love this car. I drive a '05 black Scion XB. Pros. This is the first car I've bought brand new and paid off completely. I put every single one of the 100k plus miles on it. It gets a K gas mileage, and even after 100k miles it still drives close to brand new. Also, it's incredibly roomy on the inside, and is one of the most comfortable cars I've ever driven. Cons. Toyota cut a lot of corners making this car. The doors are light compared to others. It did not come with an internal air filter, so if it stinks outside, it stinks inside as well. Also, the very day after I paid the car off I pulled the fricking handle assembly right off the back of the fricking door. I've tried epoxy resin, Gorilla Glue, Super Putty, worthless BTW, and Super Glue, all to no avail to try to fix it. Ended up going with Gorilla Tape to tape the thing back on. Now to open the back, I have to engage the handle and then pull up on the corner of the door. Plastic load bearing brackets FTL. Other than that, I love my little go-kart. 2002 Acura RSX Type S. Pros. It's pretty quick. Gets good gas mileage. The cold air intake sound after 5,600 revolutions per minute is insane. I love how connected I feel with the car in the road. Love the transmission. It's paid off. Cons. I long for a RWD car. It's not a 370Z or a BMW 335i. I also have my '08 Suzuki SV650 SF. I don't ride it much. 2007 Subaru ST Limited. Only problem are the 16-year-old kids pulling up next to me in Hondas trying to race me. Sad thing is, I own 2 modified Hondas, and I hate Hondas trying to race me too. I drive a black Fiat Panda turbo diesel. It's not bad. It gets me from A to B and it can be relatively zippy once the turbo kicks in. Best thing is that it does around 55 miles per gallon when driving spiritedly and about 70 miles per gallon on the motorway. 98 BMW 328i. Perf shock strut springs, upgraded sway bars, strut bar, X-brace, 3.15 LSD, short shift, M3 cams, M50 manifold, K, Shark software, upgraded cooling system with fan delete. I love this car. Gets 27 miles per gallon on the highway. City is crap, like 17, but I live a mile from work. I don't care about gas prices. Like, fast. Handling is fantastic. Engine sound is sex. Dislike. Slow to warm up. Parts are expensive, but rarely need to fix. Everyone thinks I am a dong. Gas mileage is low for my city driving. 168k miles, and I smile every time I get to drive it further than 2 miles. One of the best investments I've made. I also have a 91 Volvo 240 simply because I love that car. It's immortal and I can't hit things without caring. Like, I can run into anything and probably drive away. Looks badassimo. Dislike. Slower than death. Handles like a minivan. People think I am super poor. Also, 1969 Honda CB 450. Like, quick, it's a motorcycle. Classic. Dislike. Doesn't handle as well as a CB 350. Complicated engine. 2003 Ford Mustang. It's not really my personality, but the offer was too good to refuse, so I ended up with it. The mileage, as you can imagine, is atrocious. It's 7+ years old with only 60,000 miles on it, so as long as I take care of it, it's probably not even at half-life yet. Pros. It's paid for. When we're going somewhere and there are more than 2 people going, I never have to drive. I can merge onto the freeway at freeway speeds coming off a 25-mile-per-hour ramp. Cons. Needs special tires. People ask me about the car and I don't know crap about it. The car itself is wasted on me. Apparently Mustangs turned into a chick car and I missed the memo. Fuel economy. It's automatic. I miss my 93 Escort. I drove that crap into the ground. God, what a fun car to hate. The V6 is a chick car. Doubly so if it's the convertible. The V8 GT is well accepted. However, every 16-year boy with semi-rich parents has a new one. Toyotas never fail. I got 2 cars, a 2010 Toyota Prius and a 2010 BMW 328i hardtop convertible coupe. I like the Prius better between the two. Much more economical, spacious, and very gas efficient. I hate the slowness and acceleration, but that's about it. I very much dislike the BMW. While it's not a bad car, for the price, something else would have been better. 2010 Prius, sufficient power, and good mileage. Prius, I love everything about it. Great gas mileage, lots of cool gadgets, good cargo room for a small car. 09 Corvette Z06. Pros, insanely fast and very comfortable. Cons, gotta watch the curbs because it's low. Also it eats tires. Currently a 2010 BMW 135i, but on Tuesday a 2011 BMW 335i convertible. It changes about every 6-12 months. To be fair though, I work for BMW. Likes, I always have a new car, that's a good one. As far as the 135i specifically, it's pretty fast. 306 HP twin turbo, comfortable, sounds nice, etc. Dislikes, hard to come up for something to dislike about driving brand new BMWs constantly. The only thing I dislike about the 135i is the interior space is rather small, but I knew that going in. What a tough life you led. Volvo C70, until something breaks, nothing should cost that much to fix. 2009 Chevy Cobalt Lieutenant, the interior is bland at best. 2010 Skoda Octavia TDI, and I really like it. It has a semi-automatic DSG gearbox which I am convinced is the best gearbox available to date. Smooth and undetectable shifts, locks into a manual mode useful for getting up hills in the snow and compression braking on declines. It seats 4 fully grown people comfortably and it still manages to have a really capacious boot, which is great since it's a car constructed on the compact-oriented Golf platform. It handles really well, even in snow and slush despite the fact that it has 205/55 R16 tires. It was really cheap. I got the largest engine option along with the semi-auto gearbox, the biggest equipment package as well as a number of extras, and it ran me around $32,000. A comparable Volkswagen model starts at $32,000 and never mind the engine and options. Audi is at least another $4,000 on top of that as a starting price. And it hauls butt. 140 bhp, 320 Nm. 1996 Honda Accord. I've had it for 4 years. It's got over 200,000 miles on it and it has been through one accident that it was ruled totaled. $1,500 later and it's running great again. It ran fine after the accident. Then, a couple months later another part broke, to which I thought was the transmission, so it was parked for a while till I finally had money to fix it again, and it ended up being a cheap $200 part. Replaced it, and I'm driving it full time again. It's pretty peppy for a 4-cylinder. Gets decent gas mileage. Before the accident it got about 38 in town, 45 on highway. Now I barely touch 24 in town and about 30 on the highway. Once that's fixed, there's virtually nothing wrong with the car. I love it. It's the first car I've ever purchased and I only paid $3,000 for it. Cash. Living where I do, an SUV with 4-wheel drive or a pickup with 4-wheel drive is more efficient, but I have yet to get stuck with my Honda. It seems as if the myth of them running forever is true. Through all the rough times, it always started and always ran fine. Even after the accident it was drivable aside from no radiator. Basically, in this mess of text, the car is great. It has always been reliable for me. Never had any serious issues with it. The accident was due to neglect on my part on replacing my brakes and they went out and I rear-ended someone in rush hour traffic. Please people, make sure your brakes are good. I love my car. The only con that I have is the IACV needs to be replaced and I can't afford to replace it. So it diminishes my gas mileage a lot and it revs up and down repeatedly till it's at operating temperature. My Honda revs as well and I was unsure of the fix. Thanks for the tip. I'll have to check the IACV. BMW 325i. Relatively economic car that's a good mix between sport and luxury. Downsides are small things break a lot. So far my taillights have had issues. Almost all window regulators, water pump, rear view mirror. Mostly small stuff, but still annoying. Oh, and my luxury items are now standard on most cars, so I feel cheated. 3000 GT VR4, pretty well modified. You have been visited by the dinner doggo. Good and also tasty stir fries will come to you if you comment thanks for the recipe, dinner doggo. If you are new to the channel, you can subscribe. I publish new videos every day. Until then, check out another video, or don't. Either way, have a great day you magnificent people.